Hey guys, what's going on? This episode we are going to talk about our first trip, and we are going to compare that to our second trip, and we're going to go over some key things that I think are very important for us to figure out what load is best. How are we going to make the most profits based on the load that's on the load board. And a lot of people, when they first get in this industry, they just look at cents per mile and they look at miles of the load. They don't look at anything else. And honestly, that's why a lot of people don't do well in drive away. And I think that's why it kind of has a bad reputation. So today I've got my laptop here. I'm going to be looking at it off and on. And I'm going to go over our first trip that we did and the expenses, the total, net profit, blah, 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 whatever. And then we're going to go over the second one. And I'm going to kind of dive deep a little bit and explain why the second one was better than the first. Grab a cup of coffee, grab a beer, whatever you want to drink, get a snack, and we will get started. Man, there's a lot that I want to talk about. I'm going to try my best not to make this a 4-hour video. I'm going to try. Because I can really nerd out on this kind of, I love doing this kind of stuff. Let's talk about the first trip, okay? Our first trip was from Wakarusa, Indiana, down to Dover, Florida. And it was a 1,152 mile trip, and it was paying 90 cents a mile. So Horizon, really any company that you pull for, you have to have a bond account with them. A lot of them are only up to $1,500. Okay, you can either pay that up front, or they can take out a certain percentage of each load that you take until you reach that $1,500. Okay, so for this first load that was with Horizon, they took out 10%. Okay, and they have a $20 pullout fee, which isn't bad. After they took all of our expenses out, our baseline, our top earnings for us in our pocket is $896.54. Okay, now you are a contractor. You are not a company driver. You are an independent contractor. You are responsible for the expenses of your business. Guys, this is not a job. This is a business. You have to run it like a business. You have to think like a business owner. Okay, a huge misconception is you expect just to get all this money and then they pay for your stuff. It's not how it works. Should it work that way? Probably. Because I guarantee they're making probably $3 or $4 a mile off of these same loads, okay? They're gonna screw you over. That's just how it is in the industry. If you are leased through someone, they're going to screw you over and you're going to have to pay for everything, okay? That's just life. That's the industry. Okay, the only way to get out of this is to run for dealers and stuff through your own authority and go through them directly and take out the middleman, such as these RV transport companies. Okay, that's the only way to do it. It's the only way you can do it, okay? So you are going to get nickel and dimed no matter what company you go with, okay? So you have to pay for everything, okay? You have to pay for fuel, tolls, hotels if you stay in them. You've got to pay, if you don't have a tow car, you got to pay your way back. That's public transportation, Uber, Lyft, planes, trains, automobiles, anything you can think of. Whatever you have to put in to go about running your business, it's on you, okay? Now there's a couple things about that. Any business, doesn't matter what you do, any business, you have to invest in order to profit. That's how it goes, okay? This is the same thing. These are all deductions, by the way, okay? And that's a whole other video. That's a whole other subject. But you have to think of it like that. How much do you want to get paid now compared to later, and vice versa? You want to just expense out everything and get a huge thing at the end of the year, or do you want to even it out? Do you want to get more now and then pay in later? Like, how do you want to run your business? Okay, that's how this works. You've got to figure that out. I can't help you with that. I'm not a tax professional. I can't help you with that, okay? So, our costs to go down to Florida, the gas mileage on this thing sucks. It was a gas motor, is over 14,000 pounds, 28 foot. It ran off the Ford E450 chassis, I believe. Yeah, it was a gas hog, okay? It's a gas motor. Those are typically less on the miles per gallon. So just expect that when you get a gas motor RV. So our fuel cost was $244.61. We didn't have any tolls. I'm not going to talk about hotels because I know a lot of you, even though you're not supposed to, you're going to sleep in the units anyway. So there's really no point. It's just how it is. So I'm not even going to talk about hotels because people kind of get weird about that subject for some reason. But just know, if you plan on staying in a hotel every night, you have to add it into this, okay? So it's going to bring your profits down even more, okay? So make sure you understand that. We had a car rental because I screwed up on my way back. And this is why planning is important. I didn't plan anything for this trip, by the way. I literally picked it and then I went. And then once I got it, I booked my flight. I checked public transportation, all that stuff. So this is why you don't do it this way. And I'll show you guys here in a second. My rental was $127. And that was from Chicago back to Goshen for a full day. And the plane ticket was $200. And that's why we got screwed. Okay. Also, I ran the truck at 65. I recommend staying around 60. Yes, it's gonna suck. You will be amazed at how much better your fuel mileage will be just by going down even to 62. You will see quite a bit of difference. So that was at 65. I recommend between 60 and 62 when you run these units because they're just gonna suck the life out of your pocket. Okay. So our total expenses was $570.61. Yeah, that sucks. Our total after was $325.93. That's what we put in our pocket when it was all said and done. Okay, that sucks. That sucks. My goal is to make at least half of what I make off of a load. I mean that's a pretty good profit margin in a business perspective. Now there's a couple things you need to think about. Okay, that was one load for a week. So you got to think about things on a weekly basis. If you ran this load 3 times a week, you got the same expenses, the same profits after. Everything is the same. You run it 3 times a week. For the week, you will have $977.79 in your pocket after all expenses. Okay, so that's something you got to think about. This is just one trip, guys. You could easily do this trip 3 times a week. Okay, that's a little over. It's about almost 3,500 miles. That's very easy to do. Okay, there's no reason why you can't do that. Okay. So yeah, think about it. Okay, we did 325 one trip. That's not great. Okay, it could have been a lot better, and I'll show you guys here in a second. But if you calculate that by 3, you're almost at $1,000 a week after expenses, after everything is paid. Okay, after Horizon gets their stuff, after you've gotten the unit down and you've come back to Goshen. Okay. For some people, that's good. Okay, some people that's a complete life changer for them. Okay, it depends on your situation. So it sounds really low. It sounds horrible, but for some people, that's like, holy crap! I can make $325 a trip. Sign me up. So it's really dependent on what you're looking for based on your situation. Okay, so our second trip was out to Saco, Maine. That left out of Elkhart, Indiana. That was a 971-mile trip, which was a little bit less than what we did to Florida, and it paid 85 cents a mile compared to 90 cents a mile when we went to Florida. Synergy also has a pullout fee of $20, and then they take 7% out for your bond account, okay? So just FYI on that. They do take out a little bit less if that's something that is a big deal for you. After they took out their amount, we made $826.34. That was what we started with, okay? So let's go over the expenses. So fuel was $157.91, okay? Which, by the way, is not bad considering how much more fuel is in the Northeast. So my experiment with this was I drove at 60. That was miserable. It was horrible. Don't get me wrong, but we got about 9.5 miles per gallon on a FedEx delivery truck, that kind of style box truck. And I've heard that they get usually around 7 to 8, somewhere around there. So that was good. I think that really helped us quite a bit on this trip. So tolls, we do get reimbursed for tolls. So I did not put them in here because inevitably we didn't pay for them, okay? Again, hotels, I'm not even going to talk about hotels. I will say that you are not allowed to sleep in the units according to the dealers and the companies that you run for, but a lot of people do anyway. If that is what you want to do, just don't sleep on the bed, because it's obvious, okay? Just don't sleep on the bed. That's all I'm gonna say, all right? I'm not gonna, that's why we're not talking about hotels, because some people follow the rules, some people follow the rules, okay? They know that most of us, don't sleep, or that we don't get a hotel, okay? They know that most people don't. Just please don't make it obvious. Don't sleep on the bed. Slap you. Anyways, I'm just kidding. I love you. So fuel is $157.91. We reimbursed on tolls. I'm not going to talk about hotels. The rental was $107, and then our plane ticket was $59. Okay. First plane ticket was $199. This one is $59. Big difference. This is why you have to research and plan before you say yes to a load, okay? Because I didn't really want to go to Maine. I don't like the Northeast. I hate driving in the Northeast. I hate the Northeast. It's beautiful. I just don't like to drive it, especially in a semi. So when she was like, hey, let's go to Saco, Maine, I'm like, no. I was like, well, let me look. Let me do some research, I'll let you know. And when I saw that ticket price, I was like, okay. Because I knew tolls would be reimbursed. My only concern was the fuel, which is why I bumped it down to 60. So it worked out. So our total, let's see, our total in our expenses was $323.91. And after our expenses, we came out with $502.43 for one trip. Now, a few things we need to break down here, okay? That was less miles, less cents per mile, okay? But we kept more in our pocket. That was a 1.5 day trip. I got stuck in wind, so it took me 2 days because I had to stop early, okay? That's a 1.5 day, guys. 971, you can do that in a 1.5 day, okay? Use the back half of that second day to get back to Goshen. You could do this trip easily 3 times a week, okay? If you do it 3 times a week at $500, it's $1,500 after expenses, okay? That's not bad, all right? That's roughly roughly, really rough, 2,400-ish before all the expenses come out, okay? So there is potential here. You just have to know, guys, it's a numbers game. That's all it is. It's like a giant chessboard. I call this kind of stuff trucker calculus, because that's exactly what it is. Okay, because before I could plan 3 or 4 loads out at a time. So I would see a decent paying load over here and be like, okay, well, it goes over here, so let me check, you know, what's coming out of here. Or should I take the crappy load that leads down here? You know, like, it's just a giant puzzle. That's all it is. You know, you just have to sit down. You have to take your time. If you lose the load, so be it. You lose the load. Let somebody else waste their time and their money. You're not going to, because you're going to do your research, okay? So that's why I wanted to make this video, because people, I hear it all the time. I read it all the time. I've seen people on here on Facebook that talk about this. There's no money in drive-away. That's what they tell me. But this proves otherwise. $1,500 after expenses. Talk about life-changing. That's the potential here. Okay? I mean, yeah, if you break it down one trip, $500, it's okay. It's okay. But for a day and a half worth of work, easily do 3,000 miles a week. Easily. There's no reason why you shouldn't, if you're looking to make money. Okay? It's just a matter of how often do you want to do one long load, or do you want to do the smaller loads. You can make money on the smaller ones. Okay? If you got a tow car, you're saving even more. Although that plane ticket was pretty hard to beat. I don't think you can make it back on $59 of gas. Maybe, depending on the car. But I just wanted to make this video because I want to show you guys, you know, that there's so much more to this than 2 things. Okay, so when you are checking out the load board, really quick, there's a couple things I want you to really focus on. Obviously, cents per mile and miles is important. You know, you don't want to drive out to California in a Class A at 30 cents a mile. Okay? Don't do that. I mean, use common sense, okay? Get a general, you know, that's a general baseline. Oh, that looks pretty decent, you know? And then start digging in. Okay, well, how big is the unit? Okay? The delivery truck, I believe, is 21 feet. I don't know the weight. It didn't show me the weight on the board. I know that the ones that Horizon hauls, it says 19.5 on there. I don't know if that's accurate or not. I don't know if that's the GVWR. I don't know if that's the empty weight. I'm not sure. Okay, so, and unfortunately they don't always give you that information. So just keep that in mind. But like Horizon's board, Horizon's board is actually really nice. It gives you a lot of information without having to click the details, okay? So it'll give you the unit number, and then next to it, it will say like 35A. So what that means is the unit is 35 feet, and it's a Class A unit, okay? And then after that, it says pickup, I believe, and then where you're going, and then a couple things like special, is it hot, is it normal, old load, sold, you know, that kind of thing. And then it says cents per mile, miles of the load, and then the initial amount that you'll be getting. And that initial amount is before the pullout fee and the bond percentage that they take out, okay? So Horizon gives you a ton of information on their board. Synergy is a little bit different. It's kind of vague, to be honest. You've got to ask your dispatcher like 47,000 questions to get that same information. So that's a big difference between the 2 companies. By the way, this is not a Horizon versus Synergy thing. This has nothing to do with either company, okay? It doesn't matter what load board I got these off of. This would have been the same result, okay? Companies have nothing to do with this. I want to make that very clear. Okay, this is not a Horizon versus Synergy video. Okay, but yeah, I just wanted to go over that with you guys real quick, and hopefully it helps you. You know, and if you guys have questions, you know, you're brand new and you just started with somebody and you're like, I don't get it. I don't know what I need to be looking for. Obviously, the lighter you are, the better the fuel mileage. Diesel gets better gas mileage than gas motors, especially when they're heavier. Do not take a heavy gas motor. Wow, those things suck. You know, there's just certain things, and once you get the hang of it, you'll figure it out. You know, that first load was a 28-foot Class C gas motor. It got like 7-8 miles a gallon. Okay, so I have kind of like a baseline. A lot of them run off the Ford chassis. They run off the Ford 350 or the E450, the van style chassis. So I kind of have a baseline. You know, because when you try to look these RVs up, they don't give you the miles per gallon because they wouldn't sell any. You know, nobody wants to put 8 miles per gallon. Nobody wants to talk about that. So yeah, but yeah, I mean, just, you know, use common sense. You know, taking a 40-foot Class A out to California at 70 cents a mile is not a good idea. Okay, don't. You have to be at a minimum, absolute minimum of $1.05 a mile for it to even be worth taking a Class A. I probably will not take Class A's because they don't pay enough on these. You know, they don't. So we'll see. Hopefully they'll bump it up a little bit more, but we'll see. But yeah, I just wanted to go over that with you guys real quick. I hope this was kind of informative. I hope it kind of, you know, sparks interest or a light bulb. If you guys have any questions about any of this, please let me know. Leave a comment down below. You can message me if you'd rather, you know, do that. That's fine. I don't mind. But yeah, I just wanted to go over this because there's a huge stigma right now in this industry that you can't make money, and that's not true. You know, 90 cents a mile is not, it's not bad, you know. Even Synergy, I mean, it seems like Horizon pays a little bit more than Synergy. Synergy is about between 70 and 85 typically, and then Horizon seems to be 90 to $1.05, just based on what I've seen. So, yeah. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got something out of it. If you guys would like to see more videos like this, please subscribe. We're going to continue to build this up and, you know, do more content like this in the future. So please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good YouTube-y stuff. Hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving. Please be safe, be healthy, you know. Be nice to people. You know, some people are going to celebrate differently than you. Just be respectful. Just let them do what they want to do. Okay? Don't be jerky jerks, guys. Come on. I'm so tired of people like, you know, you're gonna do it this way, you're a bad person, or you're gonna do it this way and you're a fruitcake. Like, just leave people alone. Just let them do what they want to do. All right? I'm sorry. That was a rant. Anyways, have a great holiday. Happy Thanksgiving. If you are driving this week, please be careful because there's going to be a lot of crazy people out there that have forgotten how to drive. So anyways, I will see you guys in the next episode. Hope you guys have a good one and take care.